Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are reading from Bhagavad Gita, fourth chapter, transcendental knowledge. Krishna is explaining about different yajna. Different yajna. Now we heard different yajna of some Gyan and some with related to karma. So it from 28th verse. Drabbajugas tapojagya jogojugas tatha pare shadhayo jnanajugascha jatayo samshita prata. Drabbajuga, sacrificing one's possessions. Tapojagya, sacrificing in austerities. Jogojagya, sacrifice in eightfold mysticism. Tatha das, opposite others. Shraddha, sacrifice in the study of the Vedas. Jnana-yogya, sacrifice in advancement of transcendental knowledge. So also, Jataya, enlightened persons. Shanshita Vrata, taken to strict vows. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities. By practicing the yoga of eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. So different types of yoga. I'm reading again. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions. That is also is called Drupa Yoga. And others by performing severe austerities, by practicing yoga of eightfold mysticism. That is called Yoga Yoga. Or by studying the Vedas, is called Shraddha Yoga. Shraddha. And advanced transcendental knowledge is called Jnana Yoga. So here we are giving four types of sacrifice. One Drupa Yoga, another is Yoga Yoga, another is Shraddha Yoga, and another is Jnana Yoga. Four types of yoga. These sacrifices may be fitted into various divisions. There are persons who are sacrificing their possessions in the form of various kinds of charities. In India, there is mercantile community or princely orders open various kinds of charitable institutions like Dharmashala, Annakshetra, Patidishala, Anathalaya, Orphanage, and Vidyapit, all this. In other countries too, there are many hospitals, old age homes, and similar charitable foundations meant for distributing food, education, and medical treatment free to the poor. All these charitable activities are called Draupamaya Yoga. These are all called Draupamaya Yoga. There are others who, for higher elevation in life or for promotion to higher planets within the universe, voluntarily accept many kinds of austerities such as Chandrayan and Chaturmasya. These processes entail severe vows for conducting life under certain rigid rules. For example, under the Chaturmasya vow, the candidate does not shave or 4 months during the year, he does not eat certain foods, does not eat twice in a day, or does not leave home, such sacrifice of the comforts of life is called tapamaya yoga. Drabya yoga, tapamaya yoga. There are still others who engage themselves in different kinds of mystic yogas like Patanjali system or Hatha yoga or Ashtanga yoga. This is Ashtanga yoga. And some travel to all the sanctified places of pilgrimage. All these practices are called yoga yoga. These are yoga yoga. Sacrifice for a certain type of perfection in the material world. The yoga yoga. There are others who engage themselves in the studies of different Vedic literatures, especially in the Upanishads and Vedanta Sutras or the Shankara philosophy. All of these are called Shraddha Yoga or engagement in the sacrifice of studies. All these yogis are faithfully engaged in different types of sacrifice and are seeking a higher status of life. Krishna consciousness, however, is different from this because it is the direct service of the Supreme Law. Now, why the Shraddha is a yoga? Yoga is sacrifice. Like there is a nice program is going on, but you are not going, you are studying. You have sacrificed that. This is not so easy. Like if you want to read 5 hours, 6 or 10 hours a day, great austerity is required. So reading books actually, and that is also sacrifice. So all these yogis are faithfully engaged in different types of sacrifice and are seeking a higher status of life. All the yogis are seeking higher status of life. That is the purpose. But Krishna consciousness, however, is different from this because it is the direct service of the Lord. Krishna consciousness cannot be attained by any one of the above mentioned types of sacrifice, but can be attained only by the mercy of the Lord and his bona fide devotees. Therefore, Krishna consciousness is transcendental. This is another yoga. Another yoga is Krishna consciousness. Now, another type of yoga. Apaneju hoti pranam, pranan, apaneju hoti pranam, prane panam tatha pare, pranapano goti ruddha, pranayama parayana, apari niyatara, pranan praneshu juhoti, apani, in the air which acts downwards. Yesterday we read, upon by which acts downwards. Juhoti offer, pranam, the air which acts upwards. Pranam. Prane, in the air going downwards. Prane. Prane, the air going outwards. Prane. Pranam, the air which acts outwards. Prane, the air going outwards. Apanam, the air going downwards. Tatha, as also. Opore, others. Prana, of the air going outwards. Apan, and the air going downward. Goti, the movement. Ruddha, checking. Tano, I am. The trance induced by stopping all breathing. Prano, I am. Parayana, so inclined. Parayan, so inclined. Narayan Parayan, Krishna Parayan, Nam Parayan. So inclined. Apore, others. Niyato, having controlled. Niyata means having control. Ahara, eating. Pranan, the outgoing air. Praneshu, in the outgoing air. Juhoti, sacrifice. Still others who are inclined to the process of breathing, still others who are inclined to the process of breath restraint to remain in trance, practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance. Means stopping all breathing. This is in English called, when you're taking inside, purak, and breathing out, rechak, and hold inside, kumbhak. So others curtailing the eating process offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. This system of yoga for controlling the breathing process is called pranayama, and in the beginning it is practiced in the hatha yoga system through different sitting postures. All of these processes are recommended for controlling the senses and for advancement in spiritual realization. This practice involves controlling the airs within the body so as to reverse the directions of their passage. The apan air goes downward and the prana air goes up. The pranayam yogi practices breathing the opposite way until the currents are neutralized into purak, equilibrium. Offering the exhaled breath into the inhaled breath is called rechak. When both air currents are completely stopped, it is called kumbhak yoga. By practice of kumbhak yoga, one can increase the duration of life for perfection in spiritual realization. The intelligent yogi is interested in attaining perfection in one life without waiting for the next. Thus, by practicing Kumbhak Yoga, the yogis increase their duration of life by many, many years. A Krishna conscious person, however, being always situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, automatically becomes the controller of the senses. His senses, being always engaged in the service of Krishna, have no chance of becoming otherwise engaged. So at the end of life, he is naturally transferred to the transcendental plane of Lord Krishna. Consequently, he makes no attempt to increase his longevity. He is at once raised to the platform of liberation, as stated in Bhagavad. Mam cha jo avavicharana bhakti yogana shevate shagunan samatitethan brahmo huyayapa. One who engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord transcends the modes of material nature and is immediately elevated to the spiritual platform. A Krishna conscious person begins from the transcendental stage and is constantly in that consciousness. It's a sheep, it is Prabhupada's purport was not there. We should be stuck with there. Oh, what is prane, apane, tatha, bhane? What are all these things? But Prabhupada standing. But by knowing all these things, what we are going to do? That is the practical thing. Therefore, there is no falling down of Krishna conscious devotee. and ultimately he enters into the abode of the Lord without delay. The practice of reducing eating is automatically done when one eats only Krishna Prasada, or food which is offered first to the Lord. Reducing the eating process is very helpful in the matter of sense control. And without sense control, there is no possibility of getting out of the material entanglement. Very powerful point, huh? I am reading again. Reducing the eating process is very helpful in the matter of sense control. And without sense control, there is no possibility of getting out of the material entanglement. That is why, not one day, gradually you should try to reduce. Sometimes body is not required, but tongue tastes nicely. That is it. It should not be like whatever is required for the body, that is it. At least you should not eat more than necessary. Very difficult to follow, and at the same time, very difficult to understand how much is required for me. Sometimes eat more, become sick, sometimes late, become weak. It's very to adjust. You should go to Vaishnava Guru Maharaj, how much I should eat? One gulab jamun or two gulab jamun. 3 times rice or 1 time rice. It will differ from person to person. One should adjust how much I need for maintaining body. The food is required for the ant and food is required for the elephant. It's not the same. The human also. Different person has different requirements. One should try to understand it. But don't eat for sense enjoyment. Sarve api ete yogyavido yogyakshatya kalmasha yogya shishta amrita bhujo janti brahma sanat. Sarve api, all the apparently different, these yogyavida conversant with the purpose of performing sacrifice. We have heard so many sacrifices, from the for the mystic brahmacharis, for the perfect grihasthas, then shadhya yoga, tapa yoga, different yoga, hot yoga, different, but all the apparently different, yet these yogyavida, conversing with the purpose of performing sacrifice. Yogya shapita means being cleansed as the result of such performances. By doing that, this is yoga, perform cleanses one. Kalmasha means kolush of sinful reactions. Yogya shishta means of the result of such performances of yoga. Yogya shishta. Amrita bhujo, those who have tasted such nectar. Bhuj means bhojan, eating. Janti brahma sanatana. Janti, they will do approach and go. Brahma sanatana. Brahma, the supreme eternal atmosphere, the spiritual world. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the results of sacrifices, they advance toward the supreme eternal atmosphere. Here, very nice. Janti. Janti means, yeah. Janti what means? Also reached also. He, Janti Devabrata Devan Pittin Janti Pittipada. There Prabhupada not translated approach. He reached. Janti Devo Bhadadavan. Those who worship demigod, they go to demigod. Pittin Janti Pittipada. Those who worship Pitris, they Pitti. But here Prabhupada Janti is not reached. He said to approach. Do approach. That means it is not the reach. Where Brahma Sanatanam. Prabhupada very nicely explained. It is not that by performing everybody will go to Brahma Sanatanam, but they are advancing towards that Supreme. So powerful, eh? Advanced. Yeah? Advanced toward. Advanced toward. This is very powerful. Not Janti means, normal translation Janti means he goes there. Those who perform this practice, they'll go there. No. Prabhupada translated, no. They will not reach. They advance toward the Supreme Eternal Atmosphere. From the foregoing explanation of different types of sacrifice, namely sacrifice of one's possessions, study of the Vedas, or philosophical doctrines, and performance of the yoga system, it is found that the common aim of all is to control the senses. Common aim, actually, yoga. Yoga, actually, what is the meaning? Yoga means yoga indriya sangyama. Actually, yoga has different meaning. Yoga means united, Lord. But actually, meaning how united? Why we are not going, Lord? Because we are using our senses. The yoga indriya sangyama. When you control senses, then how? By serving Krishna. By serving Krishna, automatically senses will control and at the same time engage in herself. Sense gratification is the root cause of material existence. Therefore, unless and until one is situated on the platform, apart from sense gratification, there is no chance of being elevated to the eternal platform of full knowledge, full bliss and full life. This platform is in the eternal atmosphere or Brahma atmosphere. All the above mentioned sacrifices help one to become cleansed to the sinful reactions of material existence. By this advancement in life, not only does one become happy and opulent in this life, but also at the end, he enters into the eternal kingdom of God, either merging into the impersonal Brahman or associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Nayam lokosti ajaggasya kutanna kurushattam. Very nice. Nayam, no, ayam, no, never. Ayam, this. What is this? Sacrifice, jig. Loko, planet, osti, there is. Ajaggasya, for one who performs no sacrifice. Ajaggasya. Kuto, where is? Anna, the other. Kurushattam, O best among the Kurus. Kurushattam. Who is Kurushattam? Normally, in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra identified them. We are Kuru, they are Pandava. They introduced this, we are Kurus, they are Pandavas. Mamaka Pandavashri. He don't want Dhritarashtra don't want to identify the Pandavas as Kuru Vamsha. They are Kurus, they are Pandavas, we are Kurus. But here, Prabhupada addressing Arjuna as Kurushattam. Because in the Kuru dynasty, Arjuna is the best. Best among the Kurus. For best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? Nayam loko asti ajaggasya. without sacrifice, no one becomes happy in this world. So if without sacrifice one cannot happy here, so how we can expect without yoga in next life will be happy? What whatever form of material existence one is in, one is invariably ignorant of his real situation. In other words, existence in the material world is due to the multiple reactions to our sinful lives. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, and sinful life is the cause of one's dragging on in material existence. The human form of life is the only loophole by which one may get out of this entanglement. The Vedas, therefore, gives us a chance for escape by pointing out the points of religion, economic comfort, regulated sense gratification, and at last, the means to get out of the miserable condition entirely. Religion, dharma, economic comfort, artha, regulation, calm, and moksha. Get out from it, moksha. The path of religion or the different kinds of sacrifice recommended above automatically solves our economic problems. They solve economic problems. By performing a yoga, we can have enough food, enough milk, etc. Even if there is a so-called increase of population. Prabhupada never accepted that there is shortage of food due to overpopulation. Prabhupada never accepted. There is a Prabhupada said the so-called increase of population. Still, there will be no problem if everybody performs sacrifice. When the body is fully supplied, naturally the next stage is to satisfy the senses. The Vedas prescribe, therefore, sacred marriage for regulated sense gratification. Therefore, one is gradually elevated to the platform of release from material bondage. And the highest perfection of liberated life is to associate with the Supreme Lord. Perfection is achieved by performance of yoga, as described above. Now, if a person is not inclined to perform yoga according to the Vedas, how can he expect a happy life even in this body, or what to speak of another body on another planet or in the next life? Whatever he is doing, he is not happy here. How you can accept that he will be happy next life? There are different grades of material comforts in different heavenly planets. And in all cases, there is immense happiness for persons engaged in different kinds of it. But the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planet by practicing Krishna consciousness. In every purport, Prabhupada will come up to that point, because Prabhupada is not want to give the chance. If you only read one verse, still this information should be there. Okay, after explaining, at last I will speak about Krishna consciousness. No. If you read only one verse, there I will show you. So whatever you are reading, hearing, that yoga, but ultimately Prabhupada is saying. But the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planets by practice of Krishna consciousness. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. Solution is Krishna consciousness. So what are the sacrifices we are seeing? There are two types. Some are Drupal Yoga, some are Jnana Yoga. And it's already explained what the yogas. Now, next to conclusion. Drupal Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Ultimately, Jnana Yoga is the topic. And for this Jnana Yoga, one should approach to the spiritual master. And by approaching a spiritual master, what he will give, how to receive that knowledge from the spiritual master, that is coming next verses. Hare Krishna. Shunita has reached time.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a question that in third chapter and fourth chapter, Prabhupada mentioned many times about Krishna consciousness, Krishna consciousness. What it actually represent, Maharaj?
Krishna conscious means always think about Krishna.
Okay.
Consciousness should be always a Krishna. Manvana bhava. How can always think Krishna? If you love him. Without loving, you cannot. So always Krishna conscious means achieve love of Godhead. Always Krishna conscious, think about Krishna. Manvana bhava. Or mat bhakta. Only one become devotee, only then you can.
But we are...
You become devotee, mat jaji. If you serve him. So Krishna conscious means by understanding Krishna is the Lord and Master and serve him so that we can develop love for him. That is the meaning of Krishna consciousness.
Add to this, Maharaj, one comment that we are in the beginning stage of our I am in the beginning stage of Krishna consciousness. So I can't remember all time how to remember Krishna. So then how do I think about whole
That is why
thing?
always busy in Krishna's service. When you are doing for Krishna, for a dhani, yogi, meditator, he close eye and trying meditation. But the devotees, when he's cooking for Krishna, cleaning the room, so he's all automatically Krishna conscious. When I do everything for Krishna, that is Krishna conscious.
Okay.
Cleaning the house, earning money, doing marketing, cooking, all these are doing for Krishna. So that means that is Krishna conscious. By simply engage in his service, we become Krishna conscious.
Can I continue one more question, Maharaj? Yeah. Today's quiz, I didn't understand the second question, Maharaj, that restricted sex life and unrestricted sex life, both are leads to the sacrifice. How it is true, I don't know.
Restricted sex.
The question is both categories are treated as a sacrifice. How can we treat as a sacrifice both things?
Unrestricted sex life.
Restricted and unrestricted.
No, it should not be there. It is not written in Bhagavad Gita, I think.
The question I understood in that way. For that answer has true, but I opted false.
Okay, let's see the question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you show the question? Who is controlling? Okay. Okay, see the question. Second one. No, second one is who is of the following best sacrifice describing the sacrifice? Acha, this third question.
Oh, sorry.
Restricted and unattached. It is not unrestricted.
Oh.
It is unattached. Not unrestricted. Unattached.
Thank you, Maharaj, for correcting. I thought that unrestricted, so I chose false.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry for misunderstanding.
Thank you. Shambhala.
Many times after coming into Krishna consciousness, we are hearing sense unification, we should not indulge in sense gratification, and we should always engage in services. But still, at gross level, in fact, after practicing Krishna consciousness, also we are having deep desire to enjoy this material world. So, how to overcome this subtle desire of enjoying sense gratification?
Question is that we are hearing from the very beginning of our Krishna consciousness. One should restrict our senses. By enjoying senses, we'll enjoy our senses and go back to Godhead. Both will not happen. So how to restrict our senses? Just by knowing the importance, how much important it is. If we understand that cause of bondage is the enjoying the senses. If you know this bottle is full of poison, if I drink, I'll die. You're fully convinced about that. I'll not drink that. I'll drink it if I not have full faith. Oh, may not be so much, so much, so much powerful poison. It will not affect. But if you fully convinced that this is poison, if I drink it, I'll die. The same way, if we fully understand that sense gratification is the cause of our bondage, and also for that need, we have example in front of us. So many great devotees, how they are controlling their senses. There is no shortage of such type of devotees actually. In our ISKCON, there are a lot of devotees, very, 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 very powerful in controlling their food habit, eating habit, and others. Very powerful. There is no shortage of such devotees. Some devotees, eating habit, only one or chapati one day is enough. Somebody, various things. And sleeping also. For somebody, 2-3 hours sleep is enough. So we cannot imitate everybody, but gradually we try to reduce, because when we understand that this is our cause of bondage, I should try to reduce it. Otherwise, I have to miss this golden opportunity to go back to God in this lifetime. Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. चित्तों में हाथ उठे फिर चाहे Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita.